Hey, I am Darell Campbell. I am the director of the Creative Jazz Ensemble for Detroit Symphony Civic Youth Ensembles. And I've been doing this position for about 8 years now. And I've been playing bass for well over 20. And this is my main instrument. And so today I'll be talking about a few things, walking bass lines, how to get there and what notes to play and what notes not to play, how to get around the bass, and then some solo techniques. And so I'm kind of excited to be here, excited to be in this role, and excited for you and what it is that you're going to learn today. Just going to start off just by talking about my approach to walking lines. And I commonly teach the same theme. Is just like teaching anybody how to walk anywhere. Is we can tell you where to go, but we can't necessarily dictate how you get there. And as a creative bass player and as a person who likes to teach creativity and openness and what it is that you feel, I typically get away from teaching just a specific pattern, if you will, to the notes that you play in order to walk a line. I mean, if we're just thinking of a B flat blues here, I play my 5-string bass on. There's a certain pattern of things that typically go, but even just to get around from those chords, that's another way to already get around for those few measures. Or and so I typically love to just get away from the traditional thinking of things and just say, there's not just one way to teach somebody how to walk a line. There are multiple ways to teach anybody to get anywhere. And the thing is that we all have, as jazz players and in this pedagogy, we have a certain way that we like things to sound, or the traditional way to do things, but that's not the only way to do it. And so you, on your instrument, on your axe, when you're playing, be as creative as you want. That's the first thing. That's the first thing for me, is be as creative as you want. It's your voice. Nobody can tell you how to speak with your voice. I can enhance it. I can show you some different tips on how to say things better. But overall, I can't tell you how to talk. I can't tell you how to speak. I can't tell you which words to put where. Culturally, there are different things. Demographically, there are different things. We're different age. We just feel different things. And one of the most important things about playing this art form, stay true to yourself, okay? Ray Brown has his way of doing things, and it's amazing. Rodney Whitaker has his way of doing things. It's amazing. Bob Hurst. There are so many bass players. Ben Williams, and they're just a myriad of bass players all over the place. They've been playing for years. Play the blues, played all the standards and everything like that. And we don't need another copy of them. We need you. We need you to be you. And so at DSO, at the Creative Jazz Ensemble, we're always creating new stuff. We're always taking some of the standards and the ways that we used to think of things, and we're like, let's flip it. Let's try something brand new. If we're just even just a swinging walk, let's do it as a funk. Slap it. If that's what you feel at the moment, play it. You know what? Communicate with your bandmates the way that you feel at the moment, and follow each other. There's no dictating, on how things should go. So with that said, I encourage you to be as creative as you can. Say what it is that you have to say, but speak with purpose. And so just like when you're saying sentences and things like that, or if you have a speech that you want to give, you have a specific point that you want to make. And I want you to come up with that theme. What is it that you want to say? Where is it that you want to go? And say that with conviction. Like, just say that. If you're walking the blues and you want to say, you know, let's slow it down. Say that with conviction, stick to it, and say it loud, say it proud, okay? I'm going to give you a couple of phrases here now. We know, you know, the blues form. We ask, we know the blues form, but this is a shortcut method to not necessarily stepping around. I call it 1-5-1-2, 1-5-1 to 1-5-1, because you'll literally play the root a fifth away and then back an octave above, and that will literally get you around the chord changes. Sometimes even if you see a chart that's a little too hard or going too fast and you don't have time to do all of that. So what I encourage is the 1-5-1 method. So let's just take the a blues form for a minute. That literally gets you through the entire form and not having to know a bunch of the notes. If you know the root of the chord, oftentimes, excuse me, oftentimes you can just play that root, and on bass is really easy because you can just play straight across 1, 4, 1. Okay, and you're just playing the string straight across. I'm starting on the E string at a B flat, I'm at an E flat, and then another B flat. Okay. And then do the same thing for E flat. Then back to B flat. And I just add the fifth back in there for, you know, for a little bit of hop in there. And think of it just like you're walking. You know, sometimes you can walk mechanically and just walk straight, but it might look a little cooler if you add a little hop to your step. So that little hop in there, you want to be strategic about those, because you don't want to add a hop in between every step that you make. I mean, it literally just like if you were walking, imagine if you took a hop every time you took a step. First of all, it would take a lot more energy to get where you were trying to get, and secondly, you might look a little goofy. And so the same thing with walking these lines, it'll take you a longer time to get where you're trying to get and make your point. You know, adding that extra hop in there, and so that just makes it harder to make your point. So that's one method of doing it. When you know, if you got a chart that's really fast, okay, instead of walking every note. Okay, another thing, so that's the 1-5-1 method. Okay, we can transpose that to any key. Let's try and take it to C. And I'm doing it on electric bass, but it works the same on upright, okay? You know, the technique isn't exactly the same, but if I just see straight across. Okay, it's just straight across. 1-5-1, 1-5-1, 1-5-1. And so as long as you know the blues form, or as long as you can read the chart, then you're okay. You can do 1-5-1. And so what I'll do here is I'll share my screen, and actually we can do some charts. What I like to do is just go to YouTube sometime and just pull up charts. There's so many bassless just jazz tracks, and so you can just find them on YouTube. This is one that I found, a B flat blues. It's at 170 BPM, and you know, just play along with it. You know, just might play right. So. So that's just using the 1-5-1 method and just reading through the chart. I like to point out too, because I mean, nobody's perfect. And so in the middle of that, I messed up on the 1-5-1. Once again, nobody can tell me how to walk, okay? And with that, I'll stop sharing here. With that, you don't know what it is that I meant to say. And so if I just play with conviction, you know, if I play with conviction, it's just like if you were tripping when you were walking. Don't get too caught up in playing the right notes and the right feel. Like, if you trip while you're walking somewhere, you don't stop walking. You don't just lay there and say, oh, I give up. Nope. Sometimes you play it off cool. Add a little hop or take a detour around the way that you meant to go, you know, or that you were intending to go, and just remember where you're trying to get to. All right. If you can keep that in mind, then I may be a little off the educational path by saying this, but there are no wrong notes. It's your walk. This is your interpretation, and it's your way of doing things. There aren't any wrong notes. And so even in B flat, what I tried to do there is play as many wrong notes as possible. Wrong notes. Because, again, you can't tell me where to walk. You can't tell me exactly, you know, the right way. You can't, you know, I can walk wobbly, I can hop, I can do whatever I want as long as I get to where I need to get to. And so reading the chart, I'll go through the chart again, and I'm going to purposely try to play as many wrong notes as I can. Okay? You know, let's give it a shot. You know, I'll just try it. As many wrong notes as I can, okay? All right, so let's give it a shot. Let's start the chart over again. So, you know, again, just as an example. And so that's that method, okay? Nobody can tell you where to go, but they can tell you how to, you know, where you need to get to. Okay, and so just like I said earlier, within when you are doing a paper or you're doing a speech, you know exactly what you want to say. And so you have a few key phrases that you just might go to when you sometimes run out of language, okay? You may not always have all the answers for everything, but as a kid, or as a beginner to something or whatever, or even an advanced to something, you have a few key phrases that you go to, okay? And so you want to make a few lines a part of your normal vocabulary, okay? So let me stop sharing here. So yeah, you want to make a few lines a part of just your normal vocabulary. What is it that you would normally say, if you're trying to get your point across? So I know one of mine is I like to play in thirds. Oh, that's one of my go-tos, especially when I'm playing the blues too long. You get tired of doing that for so long. One of my go-tos is to play thirds. It just gives you a little variation there. And so another staple would be one. I like to skip back and forth. I'm a visual person, and so it's almost like I'm walking, I'm getting there, I take a dip to the side, and it's almost like I'm just walking, I take a dip to the side, and I come right back to where I am. So that's still walking the blues, but I take a little dip to the side too, okay? So that's me and my philosophy on walking lines, okay? Another thing that's big for me is let's talk about soloing a little bit, okay? And so another thing that's really big for me in soloing is playing space. Man, there's so many times and so many musicians that I feel like don't leave space. And as rhythm section players, we are already at an advantage, I feel. I'll call it advantage just for lack of better words, to some of the wind players or brass players, because they have to use their breath. So that automatically makes a level of, or an amount of phrasing that automatically happens because they only have so much breath. Then they have to take another breath, and it makes another complete phrase. We can play notes forever, and there's no phrasing in this because we never have to stop until we get tired. And so phrasing as a rhythm section player becomes a little easier when you take space. It's just like talking. Again, all of this is language, and it's just like talking again. But what happens when you slow down what you're saying is you captivate your audience and their attention. And so now the people who have just been waiting and listening to you play, and your bandmates, are a little more tuned in because you have captured their attention. And I slowed that down on purpose. I would never really talk that slow, but just to make the point. And so let's just take that same blues, and I'll solo a chorus of this blues, and I'll just make the point of taking space in the solo. So let me share screen again, and this is gonna be cool. Watch this. Watch this here. Okay. Here we go. making space in the solo already allows you, like, you don't have to use so much language, one, and then two, you, like I said, you capture people's attention longer when you just take spaces. So give yourself some grace and give yourself some space to just do some different things. This is another big key for me, is repetition. Use repetition sometime in your solo, and you will get away with not playing so many notes. You know, use repetition. Here's another example of that, using repetition. All right, same B flat blues. Okay, repetition will get you by in, especially when you know what it is that you want to say. Repetition does not hurt you. It helps you. It helps drive home your point by saying the same thing the same way, or saying the same thing a different way. If you keep saying it, people will get your point. And when people get your point and they can jump on board with you, oh man, if I had a drummer and a keyboard player with me, and I kept playing the boom, you know, and I get a drummer to come with me, continue to bump, 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 and then a keyboard player starts playing around that bump, ba-ding, boom, bump, boom, beating, boom, bump, boom, bing, boom. Now we're talking, okay? I'm leaving space for them to communicate with me. They know what I'm trying to say because I'm being very direct in my message, in my methodology. I'm being very direct in those things, and I'm not being confusing by saying so many words that people can't jump on. You're in a band. You want to play together, and so you want to do as many things as you can for people to join in with you, so you can play together with people. And so those are principles that I live by, that I play by, and that I teach all the time. So that's what we use in DSO Creative Jazz Ensemble. We like to play together, man. We're a loving family of musicians, and we like to communicate with each other, and that's huge for us, okay? Play in a manner so that the other people around you in the room, on the stage with you, can communicate with you. This is a communication piece. This is not just a job. So, you know, those are some of my principles. And so you've learned Red's way of walking lines, okay? The 1-5-1 method that'll get you around charts. The nobody can tell you how to walk, but where to get to. And so we know the blues form. We're not obstructing the form, but we're just taking a different approach to get to the point and the message of the blues form. And then our solo techniques, leaving space for band members to join in, leaving space for people to understand what it is that you're trying to say, speaking with purpose, and repetition so that people completely understand what it is that you're trying to say. Man, these things come with, just like anything else, practice. Practice your vocabulary so that you can have go-to phrases to get you in and out of key changes, chord changes, in between songs, and making your point. The more words you know, the more powerful you can make your message. I'm going to be performing a little bit of bass for you today. And so applying some principles that I taught in my workshop. and hopefully you guys just, dig it. So I'll share my screen here and let's just get to rocking. So I like to use a lot of tracks that I have found on YouTube. I have like a whole playlist of things that I practice to. And so I'll start with a simpler one. Let's try, Satin Dial. Alright, so that's Satin Dial there. And took a little bit of solo there. Not anything too crazy and ridiculous, but I wanted to apply the principles of playing repetition. And so here's another favorite of mine, Fly Me to the Moon, that I, again have off just off YouTube. And yeah, so Fly Me to the Moon. What I'll be doing in this one is I'll be doing probably variations off the melody, and because I really like this melody a lot, so it's one of my favorite standards. I take the flubs and things with it. So, yep. So here's "Fly Me to the Moon." Yeah. All right, Fly Me to the Moon, guys. So yeah, let's speed up a little bit. How about we try a little bit of Cherokee. Now, let's just do it. Cherokee. Cherokee is another favorite of mine. So, yeah, Cherokee. I'll share my screen here and just use all these backing tracks that are just here, free on YouTube. It's free practice, free tracks to practice to. So, you're never by yourself, even though you don't have a whole band with you. But here is Cherokee. And if you've played this song before, you know it can get super fast. So I'll take it at whatever tempo they give me here on YouTube. I'm nervous. Let's see how fast they give it to me. Yeah, Cherokee. Making mistakes is a part of playing the music, so I don't even trip about it. It's jazz, you know. So hey, let's slow down a little bit. Let's try the girl from Impanema. And so I chose not to choose any songs that are, you know, super crazy and Jocko and, you know, not too much of that. I just wanted to get out the techniques and things that we talked about and the principles that we talked about in the masterclass. Playing the 1-5-1, you know, taking variations on themes and taking variations and risks in your walking and hopping and when to add hop notes. So, you know, take all of that, okay? All right. So here is Girl from Impanema. Share my screen here. Girl from Impanema. I love that these charts are just right here on the screen too. So. We got to add in the middle of the song. How beautiful is that? Okay, so that's Girl from Impanema. So, yeah, so I got through a lot of the principles playing the 1-5-1. I'll end this with two more. I'll play a blues. Let's find a B-flat blues. B-flat blues. B-flat blues. And then I'll end just with one more song, another song that I just really like, Caravan. Let me just pull it up here. I have it on my I know I have it on my practice list. I like Caravan because it doesn't just stay on the swing, or it doesn't just stay on the bossa. It switches back and forth in the style. Yeah, Caravan. Here we go. I knew I had it. Thanks for tuning in for this long time listening to me talk. I really appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for some more performances and things like that. So, all right, I'm Darell Campbell from Detroit Symphony Civic Youth Ensembles, and this has been a little jazz talk with me. All right, peace.